Hello art friends, and welcome to CreepyPasta turned CutiePasta Part 3. Make sure to watch this video in the dark with the lights off and your headphones on for the best viewing experience. This video contains very graphic content, such as themes of sexual and physical abuse, blood, and gore. Viewer discretion is advised. In my last video, I pinned my own comment in the comment section asking which creepypasta characters you guys wanted to see next. And you guys voted for girl creepypasta characters, so I hope you guys enjoy. Lazari's story starts off as a love story between two different types of beings. Her mother, a human who was a part of a very terrifying cult, who did unspeakable things for a god they worshipped, and her father, Zalgo, a demon taking the form of a human named Evan Harrison. Lazari's father, Zalgo, convinced Lazari's mother, Loretta Swan, that he was related to the god she worshipped and that he could help her have children, since she was barren. She believed him and agreed to have a baby with him, but before she gave birth to Lazari, Zalgo abandoned the two of them. Everything was fine at first. Lazari was a perfectly normal human baby girl, until she was about 4 years old. Lazari's demon side was brought out, and she attacked a human who was possessed. In her demon form, her name is Lazarus, and she has red eyes, jagged teeth, and charcoal-like skin. She can only see shades of red along with white and black, since they are the absence of light and all of the colors combined. After witnessing Lazari tear another human being apart, her mother grew scared of her and locked her up in the basement. Lazari stayed locked up for years. One day her mother came down and offered to take her outside. She then brought her into the middle of the woods and abandoned her, with her father, Zalgo. It is important to note that Lazari does not eat humans, rather only supernatural beings. I couldn't find much information on Lazari, but she was really cute, so I definitely had to draw her. I'm not sure if she is actually a creepypasta character or something of a proxy, I think is what it's called, since I couldn't find her story, but if you know where her actual story is, please leave it down below. The cute Lazari is still a young girl of about 8 years old. She loves stuffed animals, and most specifically her teddy bear, whose name is Gums. She is much like the Lazari who existed before her inner demon came out. She is kind and loves drawing and coloring. She also loves making friends and is afraid of being alone. And never use the word monster around her, because something bad might happen. Since she is just a little kid, she can't control her Zalgoid form. So it takes parts of her body, such as the left leg and right arm. For our next creepypasta, I'm going to tell you the story of Lulu. Our story starts off with a boy who goes on an annual family camping trip. He sneaks off to use the restroom in the middle of the woods and runs into a girl who is washing off in a nearby pond. The sight of her interests him, and he goes to speak to her. She is described as a young girl of about 13 or 14, with pitch black hair tied up into pigtails and bangs that are long and overgrown. She is clothed in a torn and pleated uniform dress, with bare feet and covered in scrapes and bruises. The boy tells the quiet girl his name, Reuben, and asks for hers in exchange. She whispers softly, "Lulu." He asks where she is staying, and she offers to take him there. Hesitant at first, Reuben eventually agrees to follow Lulu. She takes him back to an abandoned 2-story house. He asks her if she is afraid of living in the woods. alone. Lulu whispers back that she is never scared, not of the tall men or even of the monsters who crawl on all fours. They have a short conversation and then Lulu offers Ruben food, inviting him into her house. Although the house is abandoned, once inside it is actually in good shape. Lulu gives Ruben a bowl of soup and then leaves to get something. He falls asleep due to something in the soup and awakes to a scream. He wakes up and looks around. Quiet for a second, he succumbs to the sleepiness again. He hears a loud thud and jumps up. He thinks of Lulu and starts to wander the house in search of her. He finds the basement door and opens it. Behind the door there is a darkened stairwell. A strong, foul smell comes from below. He descends lower into the basement, with the smell growing strong. He calls out Lulu a couple of times, but no answer. He runs to a door in the corner of the room, and when he opens it, his eyes grow wide. The entire room is filled with bodies, rotten and decayed. Men, women, and children were laying on the floor, covered in blood. They all had one thing in common. They were all missing eyes. Horrified, he backed away, bumping into something. Someone. Lulu. "You've seen too much," she whispers. Her hair moves, revealing her face, or lack of. She has smooth skin and no eyes, not even sockets. Ruben falls away, stuttering. Your face." Lulu moves her hair out of her face and smears blood on it. The skin around where the sockets should be start to tear apart. Ruben, still staring in fear, finally came to and started to run up the stairs. Lulu chased him, shouting, "You've seen too much! Give me your eyes!" Ruben kept running and ended up stumbling and falling down. Within seconds, Lulu was on top of him and reaching towards his face. Managing to shake her off, he keeps running. He sees the pond at which they first met and realizes his parents should be close by. He keeps running. He finally sees his mom. He looks up at her and gets dizzy. He closes his eyes and falls asleep. Ruben wakes up later in the hospital. He later learns that he was only gone for 5 minutes. Later, his parents bring him home. When he gets home, he lays down and starts to fall asleep. He yawns and then hears a sob. "Give me your eyes." The cute Lulu has a lot of friends. She is still very shy, but once you get to know her, she never shuts up. She loves telling stories and making others food. She is also blind, so I gave her some huge eye goggles. She loves wearing eyes in her hair, so she has 2 eyeball-related rubber bands holding up the pigtails in her hair. She also has eye pins shoved into her hair. Instead of wearing a school uniform, she's now wearing pajamas that say sleep on them. And she's still barefoot. Our last CreepyPasta girl is Sally. Sally's story is very upsetting and sad. Sally was a young girl. She was always polite, she never lied, and she did as she was told. Sally had a terrible uncle named Johnny. He came to stay with Sally and her family. "Uncle Johnny," Sally called when he stepped out of his car. "How have you been?" he asked, picking her up and spinning her around. They went inside and he greeted Sally's mom. Later on, they all ate dinner together. Sally grew tired, yawning. Sally's mom was about to take her to her bedroom when Uncle Johnny interjected. "I'll take Sally," he smiled. John followed Sally to her room and closed the door behind her. He watched her look for pajamas and offered to help her. He took out a nightgown and began to unbutton her shirt. She said, "I can get dressed, Uncle." He still continued to unbutton her shirt. He then pulled her shorts down and placed her nightgown on top. The door opened. It was Sally's mother. John tucked Sally into bed, and they both kissed her goodnight. Sally's mom made her way out of the room, and then Johnny flicked the light switch off. He quietly closed the door to her room and locked it. He looked over his shoulder at Sally with a chilling, crooked smile. Over the next few days, Sally wasn't acting like herself. "Are you okay?" her mom asked. Sally burst into tears and told her mom that she didn't want to play, and that he touched her and made her touch him. Sally's mom dismissed it as a nightmare. Later that night, when Sally's father got home, her mom filled him in on the nightmare their daughter had. "She said he touched her," Sally's mom explained. "Who?" Sally's father asked. They kept talking, and Uncle John overheard this. He grew angry, but then he calmed down quickly. He put on a smile and walked into the room. "Am I interrupting?" he asked. The parents shook their heads. "I'm going to go to the store," said Uncle Johnny, and added, "Sally said she wants to come with me." The parents once again nodded in agreement. Uncle Johnny went outside to get Sally. He gestured for her to come with him. She hesitated but then agreed. He turned on the car and backed out of the driveway. They drove, and as the store neared, Sally realized he wasn't slowing down. "Uncle Johnny, the store's back that way," she told him, but he didn't stop. Sally sat up and looked at the store, watching it grow smaller as they drove away. He drove into a small parking lot at a nearby park. Sally grew nervous and looked at her uncle with wide eyes. Uncle Johnny turned off the car, anger in his eyes. "You told your mom, didn't you, Sally?" he said. "You're not playing our game right, Sally, and now you have to be punished." He opened the door and pushed her to the ground. He smashed her head in with a rock, killing her. Sally now haunts her old house, scaring the older residents and happily playing with the younger ones. The cute Sally is kind and playful and a huge trickster. She always carries her teddy bear everywhere she goes. She is still dead, but she doesn't haunt anymore. She just plays around with the little kids and leaves the adults alone. It was honestly very hard for me to make the girl creepypastas scary because girls are just naturally cute. But I tried, and I hope you guys liked this video. I'll post a comment again asking you guys to vote which creepypasta you want to see in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you got scared at least a little bit, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!